Tonight, the first U.S. president to face federal criminal charges. Donald Trump pleads not guilty to all 37 counts. The spectacle in Miami.
No retreat, no surrender.
He should have been locked up a long time ago.
From the courthouse straight into campaign mode.
We have a country that is in decline like never before.
The emotional acquittal of Bernard Doyle.
I can live again now. I can, I got nothing over my head, nothing over my shoulders.
Cleared nearly 3 decades after his stepson's death. Plus, hometown pride for an NBA champion.
Blood, sweat, and tears to get back to this point.
The incredible comeback of Kitchener, Ontario's Jamal Murray.
It's just great for basketball all around in Canada.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening, everyone. A Miami courtroom was the scene of an unprecedented legal showdown today involving a former U.S. president who now faces the prospect of decades in prison if convicted. Donald Trump pleaded not guilty to 37 federal charges related to concealing and mishandling some of the United States' most critical defense secrets. Late tonight at his golf club in New Jersey, Trump defiantly addressed a group of supporters.
Today we witness the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country.
That is where Trump ended his day, but we begin where he started it, in Florida, where we find CTV's Joy Malbin tonight in Miami. Joy, this was a hearing that only lasted 47 minutes, but was incredibly significant.
Omar, it was historic. Donald Trump officially charged with federal crimes in a day that was filled with drama.
Hello, everybody.
Donald Trump didn't look like a man who'd just been arrested when he showed up at a popular Cuban cafe, a criminal defendant for the second time this year.
I think it's a rigged deal here. We have a rigged country. We have a country that's corrupt.
Fighting his battles in the court of public opinion.
Food for everyone.
We got this!
Earlier, Trump appeared before a judge in Miami to enter a not guilty plea. He sat stone-faced, arms crossed, fingerprinted, but no mugshot and no cameras in the courtroom. The former president is accused of illegally taking classified documents, storing boxes of America's defense secrets, including nuclear programs at his Florida home, and hiding them from investigators, a violation of the Espionage Act. Trump's personal aide, Walt Nauta, by his side today, also charged as a co-conspirator.
We want Trump! We want Trump!
Trump asked his supporters to come and protest, and they did, quite loudly.
Trump, Trump, Trump.
There were a few scuffles. Don't touch me. Trump opponents like Dominic Santana wants to see the former president behind bars.
I'm dressed up in a costume because that's what America has become, a circus.
Rushing Trump's motorcade to make his point in a chaotic moment pushed to the ground by police. Trump has used his legal troubles to raise money for his campaign to be president again. And while many Republicans have rallied behind him, cracks are beginning to show.
Most politicians get in trouble by self-inflicted wounds.
We can't just deny what President Trump did was wrong. I mean, it's clear as day wrong.
Omar, the special prosecutor wants a speedy trial, but this could be a long process. The judge who will oversee it all is Aileen Cannon, a Trump appointee who will decide what evidence is admitted. Omar?
All right, Joy, thank you. To a legal case in this country now. A Newfoundland man who was labeled a baby killer for more than half his life has finally won a legal battle to clear his name. And as CTV's Atlantic Bureau Chief Creason Adjukate reports, he's speaking out tonight about the emotional exoneration.
Bernard Doyle's name has been cleared nearly 3 decades after he was convicted of killing his stepson. He said the support of his family kept him going.
I feel happy and excited, relieved and content.
In 1996, Doyle was living in Cambridge, Ontario, working as a roofer when he was charged with manslaughter, accused of killing his then partner's 17-month-old infant, Tyler Cunningham. Doyle was 23 at the time and always maintained he was innocent. and said he was dancing with the child in his arms and tripped over his roofing tools. Both fell with the baby dying from a head injury.
Hurting from the day the accident happened right up until yesterday. The judges came back with their verdict.
The now disgraced pathologist Charles Smith previously testified in Doyle's case and accused him of violently shaking and killing the child, a testimony that played a role in his conviction in 1997. Doyle served 3.5 years in prison. In 2008, his case was one of 200 re-examined as part of a federal review, and with the help of new evidence, on Monday, he was acquitted of manslaughter.
The system is not prone to admit its mistakes unless you can show, you can produce good evidence of a mistake. And that's what we managed to do in this case.
This expert says Doyle and his legal team may now pursue compensation.
His whole life has no doubt been affected by this, so I would think that's likely to be the next issue that his lawyers will pursue.
I can live again now. I can, I got nothing over my head, nothing over my shoulders.
Doyle, who is now 50, hopes to live the life that was taken from him with his 3 children in his home in St. John's, Newfoundland. Omar.
All right, Creason, thank you. A positive development in Nova Scotia tonight, where the province's largest wildfire is now under control after burning for more than 2 weeks. The Barrington Lake fire scorched about 235 square kilometers and forced almost 7,000 people from their homes. But in the west, several wildfires are still raging. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Melanie Nagy on the threat.
Cutting through steep terrain, BC's Cameron Bluffs wildfire continues to burn above a major highway on Vancouver Island, the roadway connecting the popular town of Tofino to the normally busy city of Port Alberni has been shut for days.
We expect the highway to be fully closed for at least another week.
Currently, the only way in and out is an arduous logging road. With such limited access, gas is being rationed in some places, and businesses reliant on tourists are already reporting revenue loss.
We're looking at hotels who have lost between, 50 to almost approaching 100% of their business.
Another raging wildfire in the province's northeast is also threatening a key transportation route. The massive Donny Creek fire is now about 2 kilometers from the Alaska Highway. There are hundreds of wildfires burning across Canada. They've not only been fierce, but early.
With climate change, what we're seeing is an earlier start.
Lori Daniels is a forest ecologist. In addition to little rain, she says record heat in some areas quickly melted the snowpack, which impacted groundwater levels.
We had an early snowmelt, and so the ground dried very rapidly, which is contributing to the types of fires that we're seeing this year.
In Alberta, nearly 1.4 million hectares have burned this year, which is a new record. One out-of-control wildfire near Edson has forced thousands from their homes, and there's still no word on when they can return.
I'm glad my family's safe, but it's scary. Just out of the blue, really, that wind came up and I guess the fire jumped the guard.
In BC, more than 2,000 people from Tumbler Ridge are also under evacuation order as an aggressive fire continues to burn nearby. Melanie Nagy, CTV News, Vancouver.
The head of CSIS is disputing claims made by former Public Safety Minister Bill Blair that the intelligence agency chose not to pass on information about foreign interference and threats to MPs. It was part of a long day of testimony on Parliament Hill that also included new details about RCMP investigations. CTV's Ottawa Bureau Chief Joyce Napier reports.
Appearing once again before the Parliamentary Committee looking into foreign interference, the RCMP commissioner said there are now as many as 100 investigations underway across the country, including one into allegations that Conservative MP Michael Chong was targeted by the Chinese government.
When did the RCMP open its investigation concerning Beijing's intimidation and campaign targeting MP Chong?
We found out about it through the committee here and through the media.
The head of CSIS told the committee that Chong was only briefed after the media broke the story that he was being targeted by China because the rules governing the agency didn't allow it.
I do believe that members of parliament should be receiving more information. I think the world that we're in now requires that we adopt our approaches, and that includes CSIS.
It is becoming clear information from security agencies is not often shared with government or the RCMP. And when it is, government officials don't always inform their superiors.
It was not a memorandum for action. It was a report for awareness.
2 days before the 2021 election, then National Security Advisor David Morrison received a CSIS memo warning about Beijing allegedly targeting parliamentarians, but did not name specific MPs. He said he doesn't even remember reading it at the time.
I was at the time fully occupied with the evacuation from Afghanistan, as Kabul had fallen only 2 days before.
Since Johnson stepped down, the government has invited opposition parties to suggest who should replace him and what public process should be established to continue investigating foreign interference.
I think it's good that we are seeing contributions, constructive contributions from various parties right now.
And the opposition is huddling to find a replacement for Johnston. So far, they say it could be a judge, nonpartisan, someone with no ties to Justin Trudeau. The search is on, Omar, and the government wants an answer by next week.
All right, Joyce, thank you. Police in Alberta have issued arrest warrants for actor Nathan Chasinghorse on 9 charges, including child exploitation, sexual assault, and removing a child from Canada. The former Dances with Wolves star is currently in jail in Las Vegas, where he's facing 18 charges, including sexual assault of a minor, child abuse, and kidnapping. He also faces charges in BC. Chasinghorse is accused of leading a cult to gain access to vulnerable women and girls. Ukraine says its counteroffensive is gaining ground and that it has recaptured a string of villages near the front lines. Russia released this footage, claiming it captured some German Leopard 2 tanks and U.S.-made Bradley fighting vehicles. It also launched another deadly round of rocket strikes. Here's CTV's Danielle Hamamjian.
Trees and vehicles completely charred, the result of a massive missile attack, officials said. The sirens had blared across the whole of Ukraine, but this time the missiles fell on the hometown of the country's president, striking an apartment building and warehouses. I'm still confused how it all happened, she said. At first there was a loud bang, the cars went on fire, the window here was blown out. Body bags next to a children's playground. At least 11 people were killed. The death toll is among the highest from a single attack. More than 15 months after he sent his troops into Ukraine, Vladimir Putin admitted today his country does not have enough weapons and drones. Speaking at a meeting with Russian war reporters and bloggers, the president declined to say whether Moscow would launch a new offensive in response to Ukraine's counter-assault that began last week. Only that the enemy's losses were catastrophic. Ukrainian forces in the southeastern village of Neskuchna tell a different story. Here, no building was left unscathed, but now flying above what used to be the grocery store is the blue and yellow flag. 3 days ago, Russian forces were still here. We chased them out, he said. All gone except for the remains of 3 Russian soldiers.
Ukraine says the number of liberated villages is growing. The counteroffensive is still in its early days, with tens of thousands of fresh Ukrainian troops and Western armored vehicles yet to be deployed. Danielle Hamamjian, CTV News, London.
When we come back.
He's the kind of owner, I think, who will invest in the team.
The Toronto billionaire who stick-handled a winning bid for the Ottawa Senators. Plus,
a lot of different things going through my head, a lot of tears.
Cheering on a Canadian NBA champ. The suspense surrounding the sale of the Ottawa Senators is finally over. A self-made billionaire who was raised by a single mother in Montreal will soon be the owner of an NHL team so many wanted to net. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver on the historic transaction.
After a 7-month search, the Ottawa Senators have scored a new owner.
And despite their best shots, celebrities Ryan Reynolds, Snoop Dogg, and The Weeknd all lost out to Michael Andlauer. The 57-year-old is a French-born Toronto-based billionaire who owns a private equity firm, a highly successful healthcare trucking business, and the OHL's Hamilton Bulldogs. He's also been described as a longtime beer league goalie.
Of all the bidders, this was the true hockey guy. There was a lot of real estate plays in there, but this is the guy who wanted the Ottawa Senators because he wants to own an NHL team and wants to win a Stanley Cup.
The deal, which still has to be approved by the NHL, is the largest in the league's history. Andlauer and his partners, including a number of Ottawa business owners, are reportedly paying nearly $1 billion for a 90% ownership of the team. The daughters of the late Eugene Melnyk, who bought the team for just $92 million in 2003, will keep 10%. In a statement, Andlauer said, "I believe that the Senators fan base is one of the most passionate in the league, and I'm excited to take the franchise's success, both on and off the ice, to the next level."
He's the kind of owner, I think, who will invest in the team and will be motivated to win.
Ottawa hasn't played in a Stanley Cup final game since 2007.
Go, Sens, go!
With this new momentum, fans are hoping that will soon change.
All I care about is an owner with deep pockets that can afford the team, to finance the team, and put a successful team on the ice.
As part of the deal, Andlauer now has to sell his minority share in the Montreal Canadiens. And whether the Ottawa Senators continue to play here in Canada or move downtown will be a hot topic for the coming months and years. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Fresh off his inspiring Canadian Open win on home soil, golfer Nick Taylor spoke with CTV News today about his thrilling and historic victory.
I think I was in disbelief, honestly. I've never been that animated on the golf course ever, I don't think, in that last 2 hours, in regulation through the playoff. The excitement going on with all the fans was, again, the greatest experience I've ever had.
Taylor is in Los Angeles to compete in this week's U.S. Open. You can catch the entire interview on our website, ctvnews.ca. Still ahead, finding strength in family. The couple with a newborn calling a hospital home as they face a serious health scare. A cancer ward in Montreal has become a place of hope for a family also celebrating the birth of a baby girl. They are all now living in the hospital together as the new father fights a rare form of the disease. CTV's Quebec Bureau Chief Geneviève Beauchemin has their story.
Baby girl Nika is adored and affectionately known here as Baby D10, a reference to the name of the ward. She's the newborn of the adult oncology department.
It's not home here, but in that sense that home is where we are together all the time.
The family of 3 now lives in this hospital room at Montreal's MUHC, a journey that began last year. Saran Narousi found a lump in his abdomen and was soon diagnosed with an aggressive cancer.
He has a very rare type of cancer. It's called sarcoma.
Narousi and his wife Samane Poursaman, both engineers, arrived in Canada from Iran in 2015. The diagnosis in 2022 came as a shock. Narousi first seemed to respond to treatment, but by last December, the cancer was back with a vengeance.
We were in such happy days in our lives that day. He had just finished his PhD. We had our baby on the way. So everything seemed to be planned out.
Since February, Narousi has been hospitalized, and since then, his wife has been living by his side here. With the help of dedicated staff, caregivers determined to grant the family's wishes, they planned for an unusual delivery day.
They said, listen, we've been together for 10 years. We've never been apart. We don't want to be apart now that we're going to have the baby.
And so 21 days ago, when baby Nika came into the world, her dad was there in the room and cut the umbilical cord.
I feel lucky to have such a beautiful daughter.
The hospital helped Nika's grandmothers get temporary visas to come to Canada, all part of a team.
We tried for her to feel so loved, and she is so loved by us, by her grandmas, by our friends, by the staff here.
The family is grateful for the staff helping them savor every moment together. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
A Pulitzer Prize-winning author who saw many of his books become Hollywood blockbusters has died. Cormac McCarthy's works like The Road and All the Pretty Horses explored the dark side of the human condition, along with No Country for Old Men, which won the Best Picture Oscar in 2008. He was 89 years old. After the break, hometown hero.
It was just something I've been working for my whole life.
The pride of Kitchener is coming home with an NBA championship. Canada's only NBA team has a new head coach. The Toronto Raptors hired Darko Rajakovic, a former assistant with the Memphis Grizzlies.
We want to win every single game, every single night. But seeing the team grow, seeing the players grow, seeing people in the whole organization grow is something that always was my biggest award.
The 44-year-old from Serbia replaces Nick Nurse, who led the Raptors to its only NBA championship 4 years ago today. A star player with the Denver Nuggets is the latest Canadian to capture an NBA title. CTV's Heather Wright on Kitchener, Ontario's Jamal Murray's rise to the top.
It's over!
It took just 5 games for the Denver Nuggets to beat the Miami Heat and capture the NBA title. A championship Kitchener, Ontario's Jamal Murray has been dreaming about for much longer.
It was just something I've been working for my whole life.
It's the first title in the team's 47-year history, a playoff run powered by the dynamic duo of Murray and Finals MVP Nikola Jokic, who took his teammate for a post-game swim.
It's just an amazing feeling, you know. I blood, sweat, and tears to get back to this point.
Oh, right there.
And getting back hasn't been easy for Murray, who missed the entire 2021-22 season with a torn ACL.
I appreciate you staying patient with me. Oh, no. I appreciate you staying patient with me. Y'all could have done it. We got on a different route. I appreciate you staying with me.
An emotional night for the 26-year-old, who wasn't always sure this was possible.
Not being able to walk, go up the stairs, like not just for a month or two, you know what I'm saying? It was for a long time. And a lot of different things going through my head, a lot of tears.
Just so inspirational.
Tolly Henderson coached Murray when he was a student at Grand River Collegiate Institute in Kitchener and calls him the definition of a role model.
Jamal shows him day in and day out, when you hit adversity, you plow through it. That's all you can do. You know, you can lay down and roll over, or you can just get up and fight, and that's what he's about, right?
Henderson watched last night's game with some of Murray's former teammates and predicts more championships in his future.
He just keeps going and going and moving levels.
Jamal Murray is the 9th Canadian to hold the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
It's great for Canada basketball. We have a hometown kid winning a championship. It's just great for basketball all around in Canada.
Yet another sign of Canada's bright future on basketball's biggest stage. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And that's a snapshot of this Tuesday for all of us at CTV National News. Thank you for watching, and good night.